So everybody is back and want to welcome our two guests from Agrimart as well as say DFA. And we we wanted to have you in. Shouldn't take too long, but um, as both of you know, this summer at the task force, and you folks didn't hardly miss a meeting, I don't think. Um, we talked a lot about different issues to try to come up with things to help our ag community. And one issue that we spent quite a lot of time on was the DMC and the hedging issues with our farmers and how that all worked out. And so I brought that back to our ag committee, the a little bit about those discussions about the state of I think it was Virginia and North Carolina, maybe, that paid the insurance premiums for the DMC program for their farmers, and said, we ought to have a discussion about maybe doing that here in Vermont. And the committee, the ag committee, discussed that at length and worked with I think we had Dan Smith in along with our JFO people and and Michael O'Grady, who did all of our work drafting, and we came up with the conclusion, the committee did, that we ought to go for this and try to get it into the supplemental budget, which should be voted out of committee and on the Senate side, hopefully today. And so I don't know if you folks have kept up on this or not, but we wanted to make sure that you knew that we were pretty if we get it. The big issue was for the committee to decide whether financially it was a good move and whether it would help farmers, and then to convince the appropriations committee that we wanted to do it, which it's been going very well. And we basically we voted out 5-zip to do this, and appropriations hasn't voted yet, but we came to the consensus that this was a worthwhile and worthy issue, and it should be included in the supplemental budget, which would take effect upon passage. So we wanted to make sure you were aware of this, and if there was some way with the deadline of, I think, and you talk about this, February 17th is a deadline to sign up.
18th.
And I'd like to get 100% of the farmers to sign up, but we have I have anyways, a very poor track record on public relations of getting word to the farmers, and I like doing the work, but then to get it spread around to all the farmers seems to always be a problem. So what I was wondering, if there was some way that you folks could get word out to your farmers that there's a very good possibility that the state will pick up your tab for the DMC program and get that out to the farmers that you folks represent. And it, yeah, it's pretty easy to run the numbers, because if you're a 5 million pound farmer and it's 15 cents, it's $7,500, and everybody's included in the program up to the 5 million pounds. And we did, when we were discussing that as a committee, we had the Vermont Farmer Alliance people in, who ship milk to both of you folks. And they agreed that if we went to the Tier 2 program, that'd be pretty hard to calculate a number, a money number that we could go and look for and try to get through appropriations. Whereas the DMC program, we can pretty much figure that cost out. I think it was maybe 3.6 million, and go from there. Committee members, did you have anything that you wanted to offer in this discussion?
No, I think you've encapsulated it pretty well, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Is there some way that you communicate with your farmers where we could get the word to them that this looks like it's going to happen, but with that deadline, I want to make sure as many as possible get to take advantage of this?
Sure. Do you want me to start, Catherine?
Yeah, go right ahead, Kirsten.
So we can certainly talk about this in more detail, but the way that we communicate with our members right now, and we may be able to pick and choose how we use these existing tools. Of course, we have check letters that go out every month. We have regular email communication, additional newsletters that go out. We could also arm our field staff with talking points and information about that, because those are the individuals who are, literally boots on the ground on the farms. We also have our store in St. Albans, as well as our delivery driver. And, we could certainly look at making flyers for him, Dave Cooper, our driver, to leave at farms, just to make sure that there may be multiple touch points we'll need to do with farms. We also have milk truck drivers, like we were just talking about, maybe giving them a stack of the information that they can distribute as well. So I think there are a lot of different ways we can tackle this. And, we'd like to thank the Dairy Task Force and the committee for acting so quickly on this. We think it could be great for our entire state, all members, and happy to do what we can as far as getting the word out.
Yeah, thank you. Catherine?
Yeah, so I really, I just need to echo Kirsten there. We have so many different communication vehicles that we utilize that are pretty much equivalent to what DFA is using. So check letters that go out. We have a pretty sophisticated website that can really target our audience of who we want to communicate. So any opportunity we see in Vermont, we can specifically target our Vermont farmers and make sure they know, field staff haulers, you name it, we would let them know. I think, going back to some of your comments, Senator Starr, about making, is this an important program? Absolutely. The DMC program at that first tier, under that 5 million is, in my opinion, I don't want to call it a no-brainer, but it's pretty darn close to that.
Yeah.
We've seen in the last year, 2 years, that folks that were enrolled with that were a heck of a lot better off than they would have been if they hadn't had participated in that. So I think, I respect your approach of going after this so much. And I think it is a perfect step and is going to be really helpful for our farmers there. So I do agree with you that February 18th deadline is a bit of a challenge. And, if we're trying to get to 100% sign up here, how do we communicate that? What is the language that we use to say, hey, we want you to participate in this and you should be getting those premiums covered? just an idea to throw out there, if there was some sort of communication that could come from the state to show the intent to pay these premiums. And then, I haven't talked to Kirsten about this, but that language would be consistent for all co-ops to use. Something like that may be helpful. And I just throw that out there for consideration. But regardless, we're ready to go. And, it sounds like we're all feeling pretty optimistic about this. And given, I think it's next Friday, we're going to be pushing out this really hard with our members. We actually have a risk management webinar that we're hosting on Thursday this week. So we'll be mentioning it there as well. So anyways, I'll just say thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun doing it and challenging and I don't think I said this, but down in the Appropriations Committee, they were all excited about doing it. And so, it's good when you can get non-farm people excited about doing something to help our ag community. And I don't recall one single pushback from anybody. So it's gone pretty well. And when I explained it in approach, they wanted to know, well, how's this program work? And of course, what we have is this past year's history on that. And I said, well, the 15 cents paid off $1.57 or something in that range. And it didn't take them long to say, you mean 10 to 1? And I said, well, that's what it paid off this last year, but I don't know about this coming year. And even if it, between us, if it doesn't pay off anything, that means that it's pretty, the milk prices stayed firm and somewhat solid. And just to have that there for our farmers' peace of mind, knowing that if something like it has in the past drop right off to, 1 month that's high, next month it's low, they automatically know that at least they've got this safety net in place. And so what we can do is, I don't know when Ag Review comes out, but we could certainly have the agency cover that in there. We could send a note to Country Folks Magazine, which is published weekly. And quite a few farmers, I think, get that. We did talk with Jackie at Farm Bureau, and she was going to include it in her publications. I don't know, committee, did we talk to some others, Chris?
Well, I was going to ask, they're about the time is really wicked because it's, I would guess, in a standard sense, the governor will have the bill by the 18th, but that it may not even be law, and so it is really tricky. But a couple of comments for us. One is to make sure the Secretary of Agriculture is really focused on this, because getting him to issue a statement is probably the most straightforward way to do it, as I think you were referencing, Mr. Chair. But also for our witnesses, you both work for fairly large operations. Do you basically have drafts ready? I mean, I think about what it takes for this committee to write a letter, and it's not something we turn around in an hour. So I'm just curious, sort of, if you could help me have a little bit of comfort that you're kind of ready to press print, waiting for that, I'd be grateful to hear just that detail.
So we don't, at DFA, we don't have anything ready to go at this point, but I'm confident we can pull the information together quite quickly. This is very Vermont specific. So I think we can do this in short order.
Yeah, and likewise, we don't have a statement drafted right this very second, but have the capability to, I could leave you all and draft something up and get it out, within the hour at this point in time. And, also just to share that we've been pushing sign up for DMC regardless of all of this in so many different ways for the last 2 months. And our messaging has been, yes, the forecasts look better. Milk prices are improving. Feed prices have steadied. Those margins don't look like they're going to trigger payments. But so long as we are in the middle of a pandemic, markets are volatile, and there is a great deal of certainty that things are going to change, even a little bit blip in the screen. So we've been very consistently spreading the message that folks need to enroll in this. This is a really important program. So this will just, be a part of that ongoing dialogue anyways, and we can get it out pretty darn quickly.
Thank you.
And we didn't want to push the fact until the Appropriations Committee had heard the process that we were recommending, and basically we didn't want to get out ahead of them either with any announcements. So, and we just did that, I think it was Friday, and we're going to vote it today, but the consensus was pretty much all these things we've agreed on, and we were in there. Plus there was, the House put a couple of million in for working lands, which some of our farmers take advantage of and apply for grants. So, we're doing pretty well in the supplemental budget to put a new program in, like paying the DMC and allowing that to go into because the budget adjustment is just what it says. It's to balance the budget from one agency to the other and move money around. It's really not set up to start new programs or start a new program like what we've asked for. And so it's going well. Well, we'll Brian, Senator Collmore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think Senator Pearson is spot on, as he usually is. We have a situation where
that's your opinion.
Well, at least it is today, Bobby.
All those in favor?
So, at the risk of predicting when it might reach the governor's desk and how quickly he would be able to sign it, I'm hoping for this to be actually signed by next week if we can get it turned around that quickly. But, being in the media business for 45, 50 years, and I know Catherine and Kirsten are already well aware of this, this kind of like breaking news type situation where you have the ability to let all of your members know that, and I don't expect them to be following this bill minute by minute or hour by hour or even day by day. They got other things to do on the farm. But at least if you can let them know that this is probably going to happen, and then when it does, you send another thing out and says, guess what? Now we got the money. Everybody should apply as quickly as possible so that we do have 100% participation by the 18th. So I appreciate the work that you're both doing, and I'm hoping that we can get the word out. And if Secretary Tebbets is willing, we should have him craft something that expresses optimism that this will indeed be happening, and get as many people involved as we can. I think it's a great program, and that's where I am.
And I don't know if either of you have seen the draft that we're doing, but it's really set up very simple. Well, for state government, it's very simple. the farmer, the only thing they're gonna have to do is send a W-2 form and a copy of their bill when they pay the premium. And the way I understand the process is you can either pay the premium from your each milk check, or you can pay it at the beginning, or you can pay it at the end. So hopefully they'll sign up so that they'll pay it at the end or somewhere down the road. And this will all be law, and the agency will have time to set that process up of checking out the W-2 and the copy of the bill and sending a list over to the treasurer to send those farmers back a check. So it shouldn't be a long turnaround time at the agency either.
Was it a W-2 or a 99? What was it? I didn't remember the W-2 discussion, but. 'cause
Well,
that's
I
about-
think the W-2 is only, everybody has one because they're in business, and our farmers all have that. They talked about that.
I thought it was a 99 or something, but anyway, I could be wrong.
Yeah, the W-2 is a lot simpler form, and I think the agency testified that they already have most farmers' W-2s on file anyways, that, so it wouldn't, the big issue is gonna be just sending the bill into the agency and
Yep.
them checking it and getting the check back out the door, so. Anything else?
Yes,
Catherine?
if I may, I just want to reemphasize on this topic, something I brought up a couple of weeks ago. I think it's really important that as we roll this out, we are not incentivizing or disincentivizing farmers from making a choice on how they pay their premiums. So, farmer A, it may be best to pay it all up front, farmer B, all at the end, farmer C throughout the year. I think it's important that we retain those folks' ability to pay those how is best for them to pay them.
Yeah.
So appreciate
And
that.
there's no set in stone process for that. It's all they gotta do is send their bill in and along with that W-2 form.
Very
yeah.
good. Thank you.
Anything else that we should know about?
I just have one more question. And did I see in the draft that there's a July 1st application deadline?
Oh, for this, yeah, because then we're gonna be into the next fiscal year, so that's why it's really important. And we felt that you folks could really help get the word out that, you've got 3-4 months here to get it done. Get it done when you get it, not put the slip behind the toaster. So are there any other issues that we can be of assistance to you on? That's you can see as a problem right now, other than more labor and all those
Yeah.
things.
Where to begin, but no, I think for the sake of today, this has been a really great conversation, and thank you again for all of your work on this. The task force putting so much effort and some money behind this. I think it's going to be really well received and really, really helpful for our members.
Great, thank you.
Committee, any questions that you may have of Catherine or Kristen? Well, if not, thanks a lot for getting on with us this morning and finding the time. And we'll, if you do run across things we can be of assistance, on, don't be shy. Let us know and, we'll plug away working on it. So with that, thanks a lot and hopefully we'll strive to get 100%, but I'll settle for 90.
All right, we're on it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, committee, the other thing that we asked Michael to do, if we've got a couple of minutes, was to do a letter for, for, UBM.
Yep.
And, I think Linda sent you all a copy of that.
She did. Yep.
And so they're coming in tomorrow. Do you think that, do you think we should send that up to the gentleman, Brian?
The only thing I thought, Bobby, I did read both letters because he sent two, or there were two that were sent to us. But in terms of the hiring the person, he doesn't address that till the 5th paragraph. And I didn't know if moving it up a little bit closer to the beginning of the letter. I mean, I'm assuming that whoever reads it will read the whole thing, but it kind of struck me that what we're really asking for is some speedier process. And I don't know whether it'd be easier for Michael to move that particular concern up a little bit. That was the only thing, but otherwise it was very well drafted and he did a great job.
So move the 4th or 5th, which one is it?
I think it was the 5th. That addresses the 18 months that it apparently is going to take to hire a new person.
Yeah. Linda, are you listening?
Yes, got it.
Yeah, you got it.
And
Yeah,
it's just one man's opinion. I mean, maybe it's not the best thing to do. I don't know.
Well, usually you want to keep your heavy subject matter to the top.
Yeah.
I think it's a good observation. I thought the letters were pretty good, but I agree with what you said, Brian. I think it'd be good to consider restructuring that, put the ask at the top.
Yeah. Thanks.
And we'll just give him that tomorrow then.
Okay.
We'll get that
Right.
rearranged and hand that out tomorrow. Anything else that any of you want to bring up this morning or have put on the schedule for later in the week?
Nope.
Well, again, thanks a lot and thank Chris for getting you guys started this morning. And so we'll get ready. Some of us have caucuses at 12:15, so we'll have a 15-minute lunch period today. So
And I'll see you at 5 o'clock, Bobby.
yeah, that's right. We got that meeting. Oh, yeah. No shortage of meetings.
Nope.
So anyways, thanks a lot and have a good afternoon and